After years of this, will he, won't he, should he, shouldn't he, Taysom Hill is a quarterback thing that nobody around the NFL really understood. And Sean Payton, I believe, is a smart guy. I think we all believe is a very smart offensive mind. He's obviously a good coach. It was always hard to then rationalize why he kept saying and seeing something in Taysom Hill that nobody else did. And that when the evidence was there, it just didn't break his way. That Taysom Hill, year after year after year, was retained by the Saints. That Sean Payton would say things like he could be the next Steve Young. That Taysom Hill would take snaps as a quarterback, but yet every time they had a quarterback need, they overlooked Taysom Hill. Drew Brees retired. Drew Brees got injured. Every time that there could have been a Taysom's our quarterback, he's our guy, they didn't choose him. They went to Bridgewater. They found Jameis. Every single time there was an opening to make Taysom Hill the QB, they didn't, even though they paid him like it and said that he was that. So what was the bit there? I always felt the only rational conclusion was either A, Sean Payton saw something in Taysom Hill that nobody else saw, that he saw something in practice, that working with him day to day, he believed in something. Taysom Hill believes in himself, wants to be a starting quarterback, and that Sean Payton was kind of aligned in other people don't see it, but I see it, and it'll come, Taysom, you're right. Either that was it, or B, Sean Payton was playing a shell game and talking up Taysom Hill to potentially trade him for starting quarterback currency. That the more he said Taysom was a starting quarterback, the more people would believe him, and thus, when they could trade him, they would get back that type of return. But it never tricked anybody. And today, now that Sean Payton left, Dennis Allen yesterday said, yep, the Taysom Hill quarterback thing, that's done.
I think the role for Taysom really is going to be a lot more of the kind of F tight end, move tight end type of role. I think that's the direction that we need to move with him, because I think he can be one of the better players in the league in that role. If Jameis is out there playing quarterback, I don't really like Taysom standing next to me on the sideline. And so I think you'll see him more in that type of role.
It's going to end up being one of the most bizarre sub-stories of the last decade of the NFL. That one of the really smart head coaches of the NFL saw something that nobody else did. And every time that we saw Taysom Hill at quarterback, when he did fill in, it was completely underwhelming. He wasn't this huge big play threat that caught defenses off guard. He was fine. He was serviceable. As a gadget player, he was, again, a gadget player. He certainly wasn't Tyreek Hill as a gadget player. He was just fine. But that Peyton kept acting as though he was something that he wasn't. And maybe it was an internal promise made to Taysom Hill that Sean Payton felt like he had to be loyal about. Because Taysom has always said, I believe I'm a starting quarterback in this league. But it was always, it still is the most bizarre thing. And think about the money that they paid Taysom Hill to be a gadget player. You know, no offense to Taysom, but if you just need a gadget player, you don't have to sign him and extend him. You just draft the next guy. There's 2 or 3 Taysom Hills in every draft. The thing is, nobody sees a value in them. They're the Wildcat quarterbacks. When the Wildcat became huge in 2008 because the Dolphins utilized it when Chad Pennington went down due to injury, they thought, oh, you know what? this could hypothetically be a new offense permanently. And they tried to draft as such and tried to draft a Wildcat quarterback in the second round the next year in 2009. Never worked. It was a total bust. Remember Brad Smith? Brad Smith jumped around the NFL. The Jets utilized him as that Wildcat quarterback. There's always those guys that aren't true NFL QBs, but come out of option offenses, RPO offenses in college, and there's that guy every year that just wants a job with the NFL. So why would you ever need to spend money on your Wildcat quarterback? Just draft the next guy. All he's going to do is perfect 2 or 3 plays in the playbook. And he's using athleticism on 90% of that play. It just never made any sense. So finally, we're getting back to sanity in New Orleans. And it's, if Taysom Hill has a value, it's as a pass-catching tight end, as an H-back, which is fine. That's a good role for a Taysom Hill. But you don't pay H-backs like quarterbacks. You don't pay tight ends like quarterbacks. You pay tight ends like tight ends. And you pay the 12th best tight end in the NFL like the 12th best tight end of the NFL, not like a quarterback. I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that. If Sean Payton comes back and coaches the Cowboys next year, you can be certain he's going to trade for Taysom Hill and then not use him. Why? Who knows?